When did you decide to choose empathy over logic? I used to be that teacher who had rules and stuck to them no matter what. No phones during tests. And cheating? Automatic 0. No discussion. I taught junior math at Lincoln High, and honestly, most of my students came from rough situations, but I couldn't let that change how I graded. That's what I told myself anyway. So when I caught Elijah copying answers during our midterm, I did what I always did. Walked over, took his test, marked a 0 in my gradebook right there. He didn't even fight it. Just grabbed his bag and left the room. I remember thinking good. At least he knows he messed up. That night, Principal Morris called me at like 9. "Hey, did you write up Elijah today?" "Yeah," I said. "He cheated on the midterm." There was this long pause. "Well, he never went home. Security found him sleeping in the stairwell by the boiler room." I didn't know what to say. Morris told me they were trying to reach his emergency contact, but the number was disconnected. I hung up feeling weird about it, but I figured it wasn't really my problem. The grade was fair. Rules are rules. Except I couldn't stop thinking about how quiet Elijah had been when I took his test. No excuses, no anger. He just looked tired. Really tired. Next morning, I skipped my usual stop at the coffee shop and went straight to the counselor's office. I asked Mrs. Rivera if I could see Elijah's file. She gave me this look like she'd been waiting for someone to ask. Turns out Elijah had been couch surfing since last September when his dad got locked up. His mom moved to Arizona with her boyfriend and didn't take him. He was staying with different friends every few weeks. Oh, and he was working overnight shifts at some warehouse loading trucks. I sat there reading this file feeling like complete garbage. This kid was showing up to my 7:30 a.m. class after working until 4 in the morning, and I gave him detention last month for falling asleep during a lesson on polynomials. The logical move was to keep things professional. Everyone told me that. My department head said if I let one student retake a test for personal reasons, then I'd have 20 more asking for the same thing. My wife said I couldn't save every struggling kid, and I'd burn out trying. They were probably right, but I kept picturing Elijah in that stairwell, 17 years old, sleeping on concrete because he had nowhere else to go, and I'd just added one more failure to his pile. So I did something I'd never done before. I pulled Elijah aside after class and told him he could retake the test, just him and me, after school. He looked confused, like it was a trick. "For real?" he asked. "For real," I said. He came back that Thursday and took a different version of the test at my desk while I graded papers. He got a 76. Not amazing, but passing. When he finished, he just stared at the paper for a minute, then looked up at me with these red eyes and said thanks. After that, I started noticing more stuff, like how Elijah never ate lunch, or how his backpack was practically empty, no notebooks or supplies. So I started keeping granola bars in my desk drawer. I'd leave them out and pretend I brought too many. He'd take one and nod at me. Then one day in December, he fell asleep during independent work time. Usually I'd wake students up immediately, but I just let him sleep. Other kids noticed, and I told them Elijah was helping me after school, so he was tired. Which became true because I actually did start having him help me organize supplies and clean whiteboards, and I'd pay him $20 cash from my own wallet. Around February, I asked him what he wanted to do after graduation. He shrugged and said, probably just keep working at the warehouse. I told him that was a waste because he was actually pretty decent at math when he wasn't exhausted. I printed out information about this trade program for electricians. Full scholarship, housing included, job placement after. I helped him fill out the application during lunch periods. He needed a teacher recommendation, so I wrote him one. I didn't lie or exaggerate. I said he'd faced more obstacles than most adults I know and still showed up, that he was resilient and resourceful and deserved a real shot. He got in. Found out in April. I was erasing the board after 7th period when he ran into my classroom waving the acceptance letter. "Mr. Davis, I got in." He kept saying, "I actually got in." We just stood there, and I think we were both trying not to cry. At graduation, he walked across that stage, and when they called his name, I clapped louder than I'd clapped for anyone. His dad sent a letter from prison that Elijah showed me later. It just said he was proud.